So, hello everyone. My name is Jeronya. I'm going to be your chair for this round. If I pronounce she, her, and address me as Madam Speaker, Madam Chair. And I have both teams right in the chat. They are speaking other. Thank you. Can you please write, one person should write for the whole team. I think that would be better. You just, yeah, and you precise which side you are. Is it side gov or side opposition? Thank you so much, side government. So while waiting for side opposition to write the speaking order, thank you so much, side opposition. Can we quickly have a quick introduction of the house? Speakers, please unmute, put on your cameras and just introduce yourselves. We can start with side gov. You just maybe give us your name, preferred pronouns if you have any, and if you want to, you can give us your POI preference, but I always advise you remind us of your POI preference before you start your speech, so we remember. So yeah, let's start with, and this is also to make sure you do not have technical issues and everyone is present. Hello, I'm so sorry, my connection is not the best. I I left the call for a few seconds. Can you please copy and paste your speaking order again in the chat? I'm sorry about that. And then we can start with the introductions. Thank you. Just please copy and paste. Yeah, thank you. Okay, side prop, can you please start with the introduction?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Before I start, I just want to check if I'm audible and visible.
This is still introduction of the speakers, please.
Okay. I am Bella, and I'm the first speaker of government.
Thank you.
I am Bettis, and I'll be the second speaker for the government side.
And I'm Yvei, and I'm the third speaker of government side.
Side opposition.
Side opposition.
I am the leader of opposition. My name is Wilden.
I am Zaifa binti Zubair. I am the deputy leader of opposition.
Hi, my name is Farah, and I am the whip opposition.
Thank you so much. So just a reminder of the general rules. The speeches are 7 minutes. Please do time yourselves. I will be indicating in the chat when your time is up, but please do make sure you do not speak over time. Also, POIs are 15 seconds. Make sure, please, you ask POIs in a disciplined and respectful manner. And if there's anything else, I will let you know during the debate. And if you have any questions, you can just raise your hand. But that will be not during a speech, like, when a speaker is done, for the sake of order. The motion reads, this House supports the inclusion of feminist narratives in advertisement of fashion and beauty products. Example, I Am Worth It by L'Oreal, Beauty Has No Limit by NARS Cosmetics, and Love Your Curves by Zara Fashion. We call on the Prime Minister to start the debate. Here.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Before I start, I just want to check if I'm audible and visible.
Yes, you are.
All right, awesome. And as for the POIs, I will be taking them in the chat. Now I will be starting in 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Today we discuss the motion, this House supports the inclusion of feminist narratives in advertisements of fashion and beauty products. Although this proposition may seem controversial, I will guide you in understanding its essence and implications. Before we delve into our arguments, let us establish a common understanding by defining the key terms: inclusion, the action or state of including or being included within a group or structure. A feminist narrative. The feminist narrative refers to the perspective or storytelling that revolves around promoting and advocating for gender equality and women's rights. Advertisement of fashion and beauty products, designed to promote and market items related to clothing, accessories, cosmetics, skincare, and other personal grooming products. As the government team, we firmly stand in agreement with the motion, this House supports the inclusion of feminist narratives in advertisements of fashion and beauty products. Our first point regarding this motion is feminist narratives in fashion and beauty ads promote empowerment and representation. By depicting women as strong, confident, and independent individuals, we can challenge outdated notions of femininity and inspire women to embrace their full potential. When young girls and women see themselves reflected positively in these ads, it can foster a sense of self-worth and confidence, breaking free from constraints of traditional gender roles. It also provides an opportunity to break harmful stereotypes. Instead of perpetuating the idea that women are merely objects of desire, these narratives can showcase their diverse skills, talents, and achievements. This will not only challenge the way women are portrayed, but also challenge society's perception of what it means to be a woman. Consumers, especially the younger generations, are becoming increasingly social conscious. Brands that embrace feminist narratives in their advertisement are more likely to attract and retain customers who appreciate their commitment to inclusivity and gender equality. This fosters a positive relationship between brands and consumers and encourages more companies to be responsible corporate citizens. By promoting messages of self-love, self-care, and acceptance, feminist narratives can counterattack the negative impact that unrealistic beauty ideals can have on individual self-esteem and mental health. Fashion and beauty ads can significantly impact individuals' mental health and self-esteem. By promoting messages of self-love, self-care, and acceptance, feminist narratives the negative effects of unrealistic beauty standards on individuals' well-being. When women see representations of diverse bodies and beauty, it fosters a more positive body image and reduces the pressure to conform the unrealistic ideals. Our second point is fashion and beauty products are mostly used by women. So in common sense, something that needs women's attention and money should obviously be promoted and sold ideally by women. If it were to be sold by a man, men would often sexualize and belittle women. An example, Victoria's campaign. Their shows used to be the biggest events of the year. Yes, it has its glorious days, but it had a huge downfall at around 2019. This is because now women are fighting for body positivity and that all women came from different skin tones, body shapes, basically inclusivity, which is what feminists fights for. And also what Victoria's Secret has failed to promote. Victoria's Secret was run by pro-man Jeffrey Epstein. Another thing to focus on, Victoria's Secret show started in 1995. In 1995, when feminists have not had a speaking narrative, all the models on stage were over-sexualized and had the same incredibly hard to achieve body shape when their rebranding only started at around 2021, which is to keep in mind 26 years later, where they do start to include feminist narratives and more inclusivity. Then Victoria's Secret started to reach headlines again. In conclusion, by supporting the inclusion of feminist narratives in advertisements of fashion and beauty products, we have the chance to create a positive impact on society, challenge harmful stereotypes, and promote a more inclusive representation of women. Now, are there any POIs? Yes, I will be accepting that POI.
Did you know that Victoria's Secret was actually founded by a man? What is your comment?
Yeah, exactly. It was founded by a man. And that was when Victoria's Secret had downfall because of body stereotypes. So now it's having a change of direction where women are actually starting to fight for their rights, which is why they're getting on headlines again. Now, to end my speech, in conclusion, empowerment, representation, mental health, social change, and brand loyalty are just some of the benefits we can achieve through these narratives. Let us seize this opportunity to break free from the constraints of the past and pave the way for a brighter and more equal future. Thank you.
We thank the Prime Minister for the speech. We welcome the Leader of Opposition here.
Oh,
Boleh gerakkan? I will start my speech in
Okay.
I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. A very good afternoon, Abid, to the adjudicators, my fellow opponents, and my trusted teammates. Starting today's debate on why we from the opposition does not support the inclusion of feminist narratives in advertisements of fashion and beauty products, I, the leader of the opposition, will first rebut the points made by the Prime Minister. Starting with, the first point was how if feminist narratives are in advertisement of fashion and beauty products, it will promote empowerment of women. And they also said that women will be less objectified when these advertisements when feminist narratives are in advertisements of fashion and beauty products. But don't you think that when feminist narratives are put in advertisements, they're actually more objectified by men that will see these products that has been advertised by using feminist narratives. Other than that, the government also stated that how it will impact mental health, but they didn't clarify how exactly it will impact on mental health of women and why does it because there's no sufficient evidence given by the Prime Minister. And to this motion we're talking about feminist narratives and advertisement of fashion and beauty products. why are they talking about body positivity? Their definition, the Prime Minister said that feminist narratives is a storytelling that promotes gender equality. But then they also said that body positivity is what feminists are fighting for, which is not. They are not fighting for. Yes, they are fighting for body positivity, but they're actually not fighting for body positivity. They are more fighting for gender equality between men and women. But to clarify, our status quo right now, society right now is trying to reach gender equality based on the UN Sustainable Development Goals (SDG), which number 5, which actually promotes gender equality as in their rights, not their physical and emotional state, because men will always be men. Their physical will always be better than women in general. And women will always be women. So their rights are what this motion is talking about today. So by including feminist narratives in advertisement of fashion and beauty products, we are trying, the government is trying to promote gender equality by using feminist narratives. Now, moving on to my points. Why don't we support the inclusion of feminist narratives in advertisements of fashion and beauty products? In the first place, you may ask. Well, because like I said in our status quo, this will cause this motion basically cause inequalities. Why? Because the fashion and beauty products will mostly be promoted to women because of the feminist narratives products. So these products will mainly be used by women. But this implies that only women should and are supposed to use this product. But what about men? The government said even the government said about how these products, fashion and beauty products, are mostly used, which is actually not true. Not true at all, because men also have the same is the government implying that men don't suffer the same women does. Men also have acne. Men also experience pimples. Men also experience dandruff, and men also have body odor. If the government is only includes the feminist narratives in advertisement of fashion and beauty products, then this will reach inequalities because to men. Other than that, so what will happen to the men, you may ask? Then they won't have any products of beauty and fashion that they can rely on, especially with today's current generation, which are extremely judgmental in everything people buy. Even the government agreed that today, this current generation are very judgmental. Imagine today's generation seeing a grown man buy a L'Oreal shampoo colored pink. They will look at them weird. Why? Because they are not open-minded. Because of feminist narratives because of feminist narratives in advertisement of fashion and beauty products. Now, this bad. Now we even like the status quo that we stated. Today's generation is trying to promote gender equality and reduce inequalities between both sexes, between both gender. But if we promote, if the government use the inclusion of feminist narratives in advertisement of fashion and beauty products, then the fashion and beauty products will only be promoted to women, but men also suffer the same problems. Then this will perhaps reduce the misogyny that women face. But then what about then the misandry, the discrimination towards men will also increase because of this sort of advertisement, which does not solve gender equality. We are mainly talking about gender equality because that is the status quo of right now, and that is the definition of feminist narrative given by the government themselves.
Sorry, POI.
No, thank you. Then what happens after that? The generation will then be contradicting themselves because of this sort of inequality in advertisement. Instead of just trying to promote feminist narratives and advertisement of both fashion and beauty products, they should just promote these products for both women and men. There's no problem there because both women and men suffer and face the same problem, maybe from fashion, maybe from their skincare routine and lifestyle. Because both men and women want to look fashionable. They want to be wearing what they are confident in, what they are comfortable in. Other than even by the government trying to support the inclusion of feminist narratives and advertisement of fashion and beauty products. This also contradicts with the UN, the United Nations SDG of solving gender or trying to solve gender equality. So this is why we from the opposition strongly does not support inclusion of feminist narratives in advertisement of fashion and beauty products. Instead, we support that beauty and fashion and beauty product should be advertised for both men and women, and not only by using feminist narratives, because both men and women suffer from the same thing, which is acne, their fashion, body odor, and others. So thank you.
We thank the leader of opposition for this speech. We welcome the Deputy Prime Minister here.
Adjudicator. Before I start, may I check if I am audible and visible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. And for the POIs, I will be taking them in the chat. I shall be starting in 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, before I introduce my arguments and rebuttals, I'd like to clarify that we, the government, are supporting the inclusion of feminist narratives in advertisements of fashion and beauty products. To get into gender equality, the previous speaker has mentioned that why should it be women that are leading the advertisements and stuff? But to get into gender equality, we need to get a woman's perspective. How would a man know more about women than, well, a woman? The motion says we want to include feminist narratives in advertisements of fashion and beauty products. We never said that men should not use beauty products. And opposing team have also said that it should be advertised to both women and man, but that is the point of the motion. So now I shall be going into my main arguments. My first point is embracing feminist narratives in fashion and beauty advertisements fosters a more inclusive and diverse representation of women. For too long, these industries have perpetuated narrow beauty standards, reinforcing harmful stereotypes and creating unrealistic expectations for women. By including feminist narratives, we can challenge these norms and portray women as multifaceted individuals, breaking away from the outdated, restrictive beauty ideals that have prevailed. This will not only empower women, but also send a powerful message to society that beauty comes in all shapes, sizes, and colors. For example, Rihanna's new makeup line, Fenty Beauty. Countless retailers sold out of the darkest shade available. With over 90 products released in 17 countries at 1,600 stores, including 40 shades for just about every skin tone and a single glass designed to work for all. Fenty Beauty quickly established itself as one of the few beauty brands not geared towards an exclusive audience. All these things happened because the way they included feminist narratives in their advertisements. Without the inclusion, none of this would have happened. A feminist narrative metaphor helps women reauthor their daily lives. The insight of feminist theory and practice cannot be undermined. While women make meaning of their everyday lives through stories or self-narratives framed by dominant misogynist cultural meta-narratives, a reauthoring can occur when a woman creates alternative meanings associated with new self-narratives. The application of feminist narrative metaphors to the general theme of the beauty myth can only be a good thing. In the current status quo, women's stories are not told by women often enough, and this needs to be corrected. Continuing to my second point, supporting feminist narratives in advertisements can be a potent tool for dismantling gender stereotypes. Advertisements possess immense power in shaping cultural norms and attitudes. By showcasing women as a strong, independent, and capable individual, we can challenge the deeply ingrained notion that have perpetuated gender inequality. Young girls and women who see themselves represented in a positive light will be inspired to pursue their dreams without feeling confined by societal expectations. Moreover, boys and men exposed to such narratives will learn to value and respect women as equals, fostering a more egalitarian society. Since advertisements reach such a vast audience, including individuals who might not be actively engaged in discussions about gender equality, by introducing feminist narratives, these advertisements can act as a platform for educating the public about gender issues and raising awareness of the importance of dismantling stereotypes and even fostering empathy and understanding. For example, the Dolce and Gabbana advertisement. The Italian luxury fashion house released an advert in 2007, which pretty much depicted a gang rape in all of its grisly glory. Now, my third and final point. The inclusion of feminist narratives is not only morally commendable, but also economically advantageous for fashion and beauty brands. The global movement towards gender equality has gained momentum, and consumers are now actively seeking brands that align with their values. By embracing feminist narratives, these brands can tap into a vast market of socially conscious consumers, thereby enhancing their brand image and attracting a broader customer base. Moreover, research has shown that advertisements with positive and empowering messages resonate more with audiences, leading to increased brand loyalty and higher sales. However, we must acknowledge that there might be concerns about misrepresentation or exploitation in this endeavor. We must ensure that feminist narratives are genuinely authentic and not mere tokenism. Brands should collaborate with diverse voices and perspectives, consulting with feminists and activists to ensure that the narratives are genuine and representative. In conclusion, the inclusion of feminist narratives in advertisements of fashion and beauty products is a progressive step that can reshape our society, perceptions, and attitude towards women. By promoting diversity, breaking gender stereotypes, and resonating with socially consumers, we can build a more equitable, inclusive, and profitable future for both brands and society. I will now step down and reaffirm our stance that we, as the government, will support the inclusion of feminist narratives in advertisements of fashion and beauty products. Thank you.
We thank the Deputy Prime Minister for this speech. We welcome the Deputy Leader of Opposition.
Terus. Biasa, main je.
I will begin my speech in 3, 2, 1. Hello, I am the Deputy Leader of Opposition for today. So I will be doing two things, which is one, rebutting the points given, and I'll also be giving my own points. Now, first thing is, the Prime Minister said how let me repeat the definition given by the government side, which about feminist narrative, which is that it is a storytelling that promotes gender equality. But later on in their points, they say that this can counterattack negative impact of beauty things because the women will see that like, oh, beauty comes in different sizes and different types of bodies. How does body positivity have something to do with gender inequality? You said feminism is gender equality. Why are you suddenly talking about body positivity and races as well? Why are you suddenly talking about this? Right now we're talking about how women should be placed at a higher standard compared to men. Not based, it's just the manipulative variable is the gender, whether between men and women, not other things like body weight or their race. That does not have anything to do with it, with this motion, because we are just talking about gender in this motion. So your point about women, about this counter-attacking negative impact of the beauty standards just false. It's just irrelevant to the motion today. Now, other than that, you also said how feminist narratives will promote power. What if, ladies and gentlemen, what if how are you so sure that it will actually promote power and turn into the positive impact that you say? Like, what's the likelihood of that actually happening? Because in our world, we feel like that it will actually make people insecure. Why? Because they see, because as you said, feminism is a very belief in this world. So and for women, we are very easily influenced. As soon as we see something feminism, we be like, oh yes. We see in a competition that's between a man and a woman, we always go for the woman, even if the woman has a bad background or anything. We don't care. She's a woman. We support them. We are easily influenced. So by labeling every single beauty and fashion product as for women, won't that make people feel like they pressured, like they have to be using these beauty products and also these fashion products? Let's say every single crop top is labeled for women, then women will be like, oh, we need to wear crop tops. This is feminism. And what about people who those, because that's feminism. As a woman, we need to wear this. If you're not wearing that, then you're not a woman. That's basically what I'm saying. Now, they're also saying that it will stereotypes, like the fact that women are being objectified. Ladies and gentlemen, if we, as I said, if we put feminism in every single beauty and fashion product, then all women would be drawn into beauty and fashion. So they will want to become makeup artists. They want to become models and all that. Isn't that objectifying them even more? Because we are telling them, oh, you need to be pretty, you need to be a certain type of pretty, you need to wear a certain type of concealer, you need to be a certain type of body to be able to go on the runway and become a model, you need to be this, you need to be that. That is more objectifying them, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I will move on to my... Also, they also think that it's economically good. So you think it's good for companies to manipulate feminism to use in their own way, and basically like implementing the ideas that these women need something more than they actually do. So what if a company just puts something that's actually like harmful or like not needed for women and just slaps feminism on that product? So you're saying that that would be a good marketing strategy? Now, also how the second speaker also said how this challenges the gender inequality and thus inspires women to pursue their dreams. How likely will that actually happen? They didn't explain that. Now let me move on to my points. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say that by the inclusion of feminist narratives in advertisements and of fashion and beauty products, it will support corporate feminism. Now, what is corporate feminism? Ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand that when we support the inclusion of feminist narratives, then there will be too much feminism. Why? Because as the deputy leader, as the deputy prime minister has actually stated, companies will use this feminist narratives as
POI.
Sorry, they will use this as an economic for an economic advantage, because women are easily influenced. As soon as you slap feminism on something, women will be like, oh, I need that, I want that, that's feminist, that's for me. So what's so bad about too much feminism? It develops like non-realistic standards for women. Ladies and gentlemen, as my prime minister has stated, as my leader of opposition has stated, women and men are different. Physically and mentally, we are different. You cannot deny that. Women, physically, we are less stronger than men. But some women have been able to overcome these barriers. Why? Because they work, they go to the gym more. But for men, let's say in a construction site, a man could easily one day wake up and go to the construction site and work normally. But a woman would have to work out more in order to be as efficient as the man, because we are physically not as strong as men. So when we promote this thing that like, oh, all women should be equal to men. If a man does something, a woman can do it too. It will cause everyone to think, oh, so I need to be as strong as a man. I need to be as harsh as a man. I can't have compassionate feelings because I need to be with the same mental mindset as a man. So this causes like the next generation. This causes the next generation to like this causes like the normality of women, of how women are supposed to actually be, to be the not normal. You know, like women will like start to become like, kids will see like oh, I'm a girl, I need to work out, I need to have abs because I need to be as strong as a man, even though naturally they are not supposed to be like that. There is just a difference. There's a fine line between the difference of men and women, and that difference has to be seen. So, ladies and gentlemen, basically what I'm saying is, if narrative feminisms are included in the advertisements of fashion, it will support these unrealistic ideas of how women should be, even though we should instead take in the fact that women and men are different and women are better at some things compared to men. That is all for my speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Leader of Opposition. Please note in the House that we should be aware of the time and try not to double the time, because after 7 minutes, pens are down, the panel is not writing anything anymore. So we welcome the government whip. You're here.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and the Madam Speaker. As the Speaker, I'm going to re-clarify our stance that this House supports the inclusion of feminist narratives and advertisements of fashion and beauty products. Now, before I start my speech, may I ask if I'm visible and audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to start rebutting opposition's first speaker. The opposition's first speaker, you mentioned that when feminists provide their narratives, then it will be only advertised to women. What will happen to men? That is totally wrong. There are tons of campaigns, including top fashion brands that are run by men, like Dior, Louis Vuitton, Givenchy, and skincare brands like Pleasing and Human Race that is run by men. When they are run by men, men advertises the campaign by providing their own personal opinions of the gender. As you said, men have faced problems too. So the men running the campaign can advertise that they can solve that solution. They can solve the problems that men are facing. But what about women? Now, I'm not saying all men belittle women, but there are a lot of men who over-sexualize and belittle women. Now, they're going to give the wrong opinion to women and also not include women in their campaigns at all. Oh, so is there a POI? Yes, I'll be taking the POI.
Please explain the likelihood of what you said just now. You said what did you say just now? The line before the POI?
Excuse me? What did you say?
Wait.
Never mind, sorry.
Okay. Now continuing my speech. Sometimes men give their opinions by belittling and sexualizing women. This will portray women as sex objects. So then this is where feminist narratives come in. When they come out to give their opinion, the men will start to think, oh, women aren't that little, they aren't just sex objects. And then you will start changing the whole campaign and bettering the whole perspective in general. And from opposition's second speaker, you implied that Gender equality has nothing to do with a woman's image and their body weight, but it does when again when men see women only as when men see the woman of a minority, their image, and when they see that the image of the majority of women that may not look a certain way, they will start disrespecting them because they don't think they're women. They don't think that they run accordingly to the actual image of a woman. Therefore, gender inequality. Plus, as we said, feminist narratives is including more types of a woman image. More feminist narratives bring more different types of different body types and skin shades to stand out. Plus we have not said that women should look a certain way. We literally are standing opposite of that. We mention multiple times that women have different forms. And I also like to rebut a lot of your points that are insanely misogynistic. You mentioned points like too much feminism, and you also mentioned that men are stronger than women. And you plus the first speaker also mentioned that men are better than women. Aren't you supporting gender inequality? This is why we need feminism. Just now you implied too much feminism. This is why we need it. This is why we need it because of gender inequality created by people like you. And now, POI, what POI do you want?
So you have mentioned in your definition that you say a feminist is promoting body positivity. Then you say to gender equality. How come that is tally with your definition?
I already mentioned this literally just now. I said that it does connect because when men only see they promote women as a certain type of image, but then they start meeting people because there's only one certain image, but there's thousands of different women out there. When they see them, they start disrespecting them because they think that, oh, you don't suit what an actual woman looks like. Now, back to my speech. I'd like to elaborate on my house's elaboration. Campaigns that are run by men often stereotype women as over-sexualized and that women only belong in a certain place. Think about it. Campaigns are run all over television. They're run all over advertisements. That is accessible to people of all age, including young girls. They still have no idea of what a woman looks like. They still have no idea of what a woman's image is. There's none. But if there's none, and we all know that women have different skin tones and body shapes, but when what they see are all the same type of people, they will start assuming they'll start self-doubting that, oh, am I not suitable to be a woman? Am I just not qualified to be a woman? I'd also like to continue an example my first speaker gave about Victoria's Secret. It's really important to realize Victoria's Secret only started using plus-size models in 2019. Keep in mind that Victoria's Secret, their show only started in 1995. 1995, that is 24 years before. Then that was the time when feminists had not had a speaking narrative. All the models on stage were over-sexualized and all had the same body shape and image. When their rebranding only started at around 2021, which is also, keep in mind, 26 later, which they did start to include feminist narratives and inclusivity, then Victoria's Secret started to reach headlines again. Now, from the examples of what both government team and has from what my team has offered, which are all examples of inclusivity and representation that is needed, which has also happened after a feminist narrative, why wouldn't you want more inclusivity and representation for everyone? Changing the image of what a so-called woman is like, that's something I would like to ask opposite team. And thank you, Madam Speaker.
We think the government will, for the speech, will welcome the opposition with you.
I will begin my speech in 3, 2, 1. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And a very good evening to everybody on the floor today. So, I am the whip of opposition will do two things, which is standing our points in the opposition side and will not giving any additional new points. And plus, rebutting the points that have been given by the government side. Okay, today, ladies and gentlemen, the government side has been very misunderstood about the motion today. The motion has stated this house support inclusion of feminist narrative in advertisement of fashion and beauty product. We in the opposition side does not support this. Why? Because that we believe on a stand in the opposition side, which is to support inequalities and to promoting corporate feminism. The government side has been very, very misunderstood this motion by saying that they have been explaining over and over again, time and time again, about beauty standards. Standards about body positivity. Plus, feminism is not about that at all. Feminism is about fighting about women's rights. Okay, what is women's right actually? And it's not only in beauty and fashion industry, but also in the way that in order for you to take over a country or yeah, for right and education. I'm sorry. Okay, so moving on to what has the Prime Minister has stated that she by with promoting empowerment in women and embrace women. Yes, we don't deny that we also want to promote empowerment in women and embrace women. But we cannot deny there's also other initiatives to support this, to empower in women. There's a lot of ways other than fashion and beauty products. So by including the feminist narrative in advertisement, this will not only limit the diversity in your products, and also she has stated that to foster healthy relationship into consumer and product. So how can you say this is true when basically when you have a feminist narrative in your product, right? Then you have, okay, I love my curve, I know my worth. So basically this is what have been manipulating women over and over again, time and time again, to show that, okay, this is what I need, this is what I am, this is what I need to achieve a certain type of look. So where is the diversity in your product? How come that your product is going to spread globally and internationally if only the thing that you are focusing on is not the diversity in it? If you want to sell your product, of course you need to have a smart marketing way, but there is a fine line between manipulating your customer and having a healthy way of promoting your products. So that is why we believe that to foster healthy relationship between consumer and product is very relevant from our point of view in the opposition side. Then the second speaker of the government side stated that fighting for body positivity. Okay, here we in the opposition side has already stated that feminism is not a body positivity. It's not a government say body positivity or inclusivity is what feminists are fighting against. Feminism is basically like you're fighting for the rights of women. So that is not even it. And then you say Victoria's Secret is founded by a man. Yeah, when a man editing and advertising your content to expose it to the international world, right? So will it not become more and more objectifying the woman because the people that handle the content behind it is a man itself? So how can you guarantee and how can you say that that is not the case by objectifying the woman? Because we in the opposition side does not want women to be that does not women to be objectified. Then the government side said that by having if by making the women objectified, so they basically just like contradicting themselves here. Also, they're talking about beauty standards, which are very irrelevant to the motion as I stated before. We're talking about feminist narrative in an advertisement. So how come you say the likelihood and the importance of it? You don't even provide the mechanism or the counterfact to our points just now, to our points that have been stated by the opposition side. And then moving on to the whip of government, which is he said. She said, no, I'm sorry, we're still in the second speaker. The second speaker has also has stated that.
Sorry, POI.
No, sorry. And then you say by inclusive and diverse of women will get beauty ideals prevail and restricted beauty ideals. So what you mean by beauty ideals? So I guess what you mean by beauty ideals is the one that is fit the beauty standard. So how can you restrict these beauty ideals when the feminist narrative in advertisement of fashion and beauty products is exposed? How can you see that? How can you restrict them? Are you going to ban every single advertisement that is not including feminist narratives? How can you do that? The government doesn't even give the mechanism for this. So how can the motion be to relevant to no. Then moving on to the third speaker that stated that they say that our point in the opposition is very misogynist because they say that men are stronger because we say that men are stronger than women. But I am very sure that our second speaker has already stated that men are stronger than women physically. You cannot deny that because has already time and time stated that physically men are more stronger than women in physically. So we in the government side, in the opposition side, believe that this motion should fall. This motion should fall based on the points that have been given on the opposition side. Thank you so much. That's all for me. Have a nice day.
We thank the opposition whip for this speech. We call on the reply speaker for opposition.
Any definition? I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Good evening, I've been to the educators, my fellow opponents, and my classmates once again. Now, as we are coming to the end of today's debate, I will now be summarizing and concluding, as well as clarifying any misconceptions that occur in today's debate, and why we, from the opposition side, should win today's debate and let this motion fall. Now, starting with the contradiction that has been happening by the government side from their first speaker until their third speaker. Their definition of feminist narratives is basically saying, it's basically talking about gender equality, but then their points were talking about body positivity, and it's what feminists are fighting for, which is wrong because, like the Prime Minister, which was I talk about in the status quo, we already surmised that the status quo right now is that feminists are trying to reach gender equality of their rights even the UN, the United Nations, are making an SDG, a Sustainable Development Goals, just to make sure that gender equality is reached in every country. So I so the government is basically talking about the wrong thing because of this motion. We are talking about feminist narratives, which they themselves define as to promote gender equality. But then their points were about body positivity, and inclusivity in what feminists are fighting for. Now, we also stated that this motion also stated that feminist narratives in advertisement of fashion and beauty products. Men and we from the opposition disagree with this because not only women should have advertisement in feminist and in fashion and beauty products, because men also suffer the same problem like women does from acne, pimples, body odor and stuff. So why are they so this will cause gender inequality between two men, which then will contradict the status quo of right now, which of trying to reach gender equality for both genders by rights. Why do I say rights? Because like the third speaker said, we said that men are physically stronger than women, and this is proven by scientific research. We're not saying that we didn't ever say men are better than women. We're just saying that physically men are stronger than women. Another thing, in this motion, we are talking about fashion and beauty products, but they keep mentioning about body positivity, skin tones, and other stuff, which basically about beauty standards, which is irrelevant to today's motion because we are focusing on fashion and beauty products. And another thing, we want this. Why do we believe we want to win? Because this motion, the government themselves are supporting gender inequality because, like I said before, like I said time and time again, both men and women suffer from the same problems when it being fashion or beauty products. Other than that, Alright, so this is why we, from the opposition, strongly believe that the government should not include a feminist narrative in advertisement of fashion and beauty products, so that gender equality will be reached more easily in our world, comparing to their world where they only focus on feminist narratives in their advertisement of fashion and beauty products and completely where in their world, they will face more problems regarding gender inequality. That's all from me. Thank you.
I think the reply speaker from side opposition will welcome the reply speaker from side government to close the debate.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, today I rise to summarize and emphasize the arguments my team and I have laid before you. Standing in agreement with the motion, this House supports the inclusion of feminist narratives in advertisements of fashion and beauty products. Our honorable opponents argue that men also use beauty products. However, we have never said that men don't use fashion and beauty products. The opposition prime minister have mentioned that both men and women get sexualized, but the motion of this debate is to support the inclusion of feminist narratives. Secondly, our opponents also claim that having a woman on advertisements would make women get sexualized. However, our third speaker have already rebutted that point. Moreover, our opponents claim that gender equality has nothing to do with positivity. But when we include feminist narratives, that's how we get gender equality. Oppositions have mentioned that your House does not support the objectification of women, but yet you believe that men is better than women, that women are not stronger than men. It makes no sense. You say that we don't want women to be objectified, but without these feminist narratives, which is the current status quo, there will only be more objectification of women. Even now, there is not enough representation of feminism. The motion says inclusion. We aren't excluding any other gender, only including feminism. Moreover, our opponents claim that a feminist narrative cannot promote power and female empowerment, but it does. It challenges traditional power structure, promotes equal opportunities, highlight role models, and creates space for women's voice and many more. Additionally, our opponents argue that there is too much feminism. How can we have too much feminism? If anything, we do not have enough feminism. Ongoing work of feminism is still necessary to achieve true gender equality. All the headlines and examples in the motion are the benefits of feminism. Why won't we want more? The reason why we, the government, believe that we have won this debate is because the opposition have not proven why we should not support the inclusion of feminist narratives in advertisement of fashion and beauty products. The opposition have also denied all our POIs. I would like to step down and reinstate our stand that we, the government, believe that this House supports the inclusion of feminist narratives in advertisements of fashion and beauty products. Furthermore, we have proved that yes, a woman's body image does relate to gender inequality, and we have also proved that men also faces problems too. But again, they are solved because there are tons of campaigns that are run by men. Their problems are resolved. So with feminist narratives, you get much more diversity for both genders rather than one. Thank you.
We thank the reply speaker from side proposition for this speech. Thank you very much to the House for this very nice and engaging debate. This is a close round, so no oral adjudication and results. You probably only get them after the breaks. Do not hesitate to ask your teachers or coaches to contact me via Discord for personal feedback if you need. Good luck on the breaks, and yeah, nice debate, guys.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Madam
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, bye.